my name is Ariel, Anglin. It's so nice to meet you.
My name is Lily Jones. It's nice to meet you too.
So, Lily, thank you for coming in to see me today, first of all. I just wanted to kind of go over some paperwork before we get started, before we have a chance to kind of talk about why you came in. This here is an informed consent form. This is something I do with all of my clients when they come in, just to kind of protect you and protect me and to give me the chance to talk to you about everything you're dealing with. I want to go over it and read it to you just to make sure you understand, and I'll give you a chance to ask questions afterwards to make sure that everything makes sense.
Okay.
So this here says I, and then your name will go here, gives my permission for Ariel Anglin, and that's me, of course, an undergraduate student in Social Work 3311, which is Human Behavior 2 here at Angela State University, to conduct a person and environment assessment that includes both a personal interview that we recorded for educational and training purposes. I understand the undergraduate student conducting the evaluation is in training and is therefore not qualified to provide me with any feedback regarding my evaluation results. I also understand that the results of this evaluation are confidential and that some of the information I provide will be altered to disguise my identity. Is that clear? Does it make sense? Do you have any questions?
No.
Perfect.
Sounds perfect.
If you could sign that for me, that'd be great.
And today's the 17th, correct?
Yes, ma'am.
All right.
Perfect. Thank you so much. I'm glad we got that out of the way. Just wanted to let you know I do have my code of ethics posted here in my office just for you to refer to, and you can take a look at anytime you want. That way you can make sure I'm doing my job and providing the services adequately I'm supposed to be providing for you.
Thank you.
So, of course. So, tell me a little bit more about why you came in today.
Well, recently I've been experiencing a little bit of depression and anxiety. One of my parents recently lost their job, and that's affected me a little bit. And I'm not getting along with a couple of my family members.
Okay. Do you mind if I take some notes while we're talking when you give me a little more information?
Yes, that would be fine.
Perfect. Thank you. So, you mentioned that you're having some issues with your family. Can you tell me a little bit more about them? Are you with your biological parent?
Yes, I live currently with my biological parents. I'm having a little bit of issues with my brother right now.
Okay. So what is your relationship with your parents then?
The relationship that I have with my mom is really positive. We're really close. We're able to talk about a lot of stuff. With my dad, not so much. We tend to argue a lot and disagree on a lot of things.
Okay. That's definitely, we'll talk a little bit more about that. So you said that you're kind of having some issues with your brother, correct?
Mm-hmm.
How old is he?
He's 18.
Okay. What are the things that you're struggling with him?
We disagree a lot on the path that he should take and the path that I should take.
Okay.
He feels like we should take like completely different paths, and I feel like he needs to go a certain way in life to be positive.
Okay, that's definitely seems like a big sister thing to do. So are you maybe in any kind of relationship right now?
I'm not in any kind of intimate relationship right now.
Okay. Is that causing any issues for you?
I mean, I feel like everybody craves like an intimate, close, personal relationship in their lives, and I feel like that has led to a little bit of the loneliness and maybe a bit of the depression.
Okay. It's good to kind of make those connections so we can kind of start to work on that and kind of build you up a little bit. Okay, so are you currently working right now? I know you mentioned that you're in school.
I do currently work part-time at AutoZone right now.
Okay.
I work about 15 to 20 hours a week there.
Okay. So is that kind of something you are enjoying doing?
I am. I'm enjoying learning a lot about things that I can help myself with and help others with.
Okay, that's a good thing. It's definitely good to understand the things that you're working with yourself. So you said you're working 15 to 20 hours. How is that affecting your school schedule?
It doesn't so much affect my school schedule. I still have plenty of time to study.
Okay.
And I make mostly A's.
Okay.
A little bit of B's here. I struggle a little bit.
Okay. So, do you have any significant friendships? I know you mentioned, we talked about you don't have an intimate relationship right now. Do you have any maybe really close friends or some peer groups?
I do have one really close friend. We met when I started college, and we've grown pretty close. We do have different schedules and everything, though, so it is kind of hard to meet up and discuss things that are going on in our lives.
Okay. So are you having any issues maybe with any of the people in your peer group?
No, I wouldn't say I'm having issues with them. I'm just having trouble connecting with them a little bit.
Okay.
I find it hard to express myself and put myself out there in social situations.
Okay, we can definitely talk a little bit more of that in a little bit. So what are some of the kind of roles you see yourself in right now?
Well, for sure, I see myself as a student. That's like the most important thing to me right now is getting good grades. I'm currently going to school for education.
Oh, that's such a rewarding career.
Yes. And I guess another role would be daughter.
Okay.
Like I said earlier, I'm really close with my mom, and I feel like I'm doing a really good role as a daughter there.
Okay. Okay. So you see yourself as a student, as a daughter. Anything else that you kind of see as important to you?
I am involved in my church group, and so I feel like as like a church member, that's a fairly important role.
Okay, that's a good one to acknowledge as well. So you said you're living at home. Of course, that's going to provide that shelter for you. Are you covering maybe any of the cost for food, for bills, anything like that?
I don't necessarily have to, but when I can, I try to pitch in for bills just so I feel like I'm providing and taking care of my part. Okay.
So can you kind of describe your home life for me, maybe the way that it's working with one of your parents being unemployed?
With one of my parents being unemployed, I do feel the pressure to pitch in a little bit more recently with the bills, and it's also put a strain on my parents' relationship, which is stressful for me and my brother.
Okay. That's one of those things that maybe we can kind of talk about some options maybe to see if there's any way to maybe find a counselor perhaps that could kind of help with that a little bit, or maybe we could even look into, I know you mentioned you like your job, maybe we could look into finding maybe a second job or something along those lines to kind of build your skills up.
That would be great.
Okay. So how are you currently getting to work, to school, to all of those things like that? Do you have a car?
I do have a car, but it's not the most reliable. I got it about a year ago, but it's had a lot of mechanical issues since then. So although it runs, it's not very dependable.
Okay. Maybe that's something else we can look into, perhaps. Maybe finding something that's affordable, but maybe is going to work a little bit better.
That would be great.
Okay. So you did mention that you're going to school for education. What year are you currently, and how far along are you?
I am a junior in the second semester of my education.
Okay, and so good that you're so far along. Are you having any problems at school, anything related to your classes that you're having trouble with?
Like I mentioned earlier, I'm having a little bit of anxiety, especially when it comes to test taking and studying. So I have found that it's affecting my grades just a little bit when it comes to that aspect.
Okay. One of the things I want to recommend is that we could kind of talk to the people at the school. They can possibly make some accommodations for you and to kind of alleviate some of that anxiety you're dealing with when taking tests.
I wasn't aware that they could do that for me. Thank you.
Of course. So one of the things that I always want to talk about with my clients is something that we don't always consider as a stressor maybe in our lives. Have you been facing any discriminations, maybe related to your age because you are young, or maybe your gender, or your race, or the religion that you prescribe to, anything along those lines?
I wouldn't say that I've been discriminated against by my ethnicity or race. I am Caucasian, so I feel like that's all right there. But I have been discriminated against, I feel like, or looked down upon because of my age, especially where I work at. A lot of customers that come in are more willing to talk to older people, older employees than they are to me. Yeah.
Okay. Maybe one of the things that we can kind of work on later on is kind of giving you maybe that confidence to step up to somebody that comes into your work and to kind of give you that chance to show that you know what you're talking about and to kind of get you out there a little bit. I know you did mention you're having a little bit of trouble getting yourself out there, so we can kind of work on all of these things together, and maybe it'll help with all these different things as well.
I would love to build some of those skills.
Perfect. So have you been involved with the legal system at all? I know being young, there's sometimes some issues that come along with that.
The biggest trouble I've ever gotten into is a speeding ticket. I've never been in any kind of serious legal trouble before.
Okay, of course that alleviates a lot of stress, and that's definitely a good thing. So you did say you live at home with your parents. Do you currently have health insurance?
I do. I'm currently under my parents' health insurance still.
Okay. So do you have a primary care physician? Are you set up with that?
I do have a primary care physician here in town, yes.
Okay. And is it easy for you to get in to see your primary care physician?
It is most of the time, as long as my car is working when I need it to.
Okay, perfect. So are you involved with maybe any social service programs? Have you looked into being a student, maybe what's available to you with your income level?
I haven't looked into any of that, no.
Okay, we can definitely go over that. There are options for programs to maybe help you with your student loans, with tuition, scholarships as well. They can kind of help alleviate some of that financial stress.
That would be great now, especially since my parent has lost his job.
Perfect. So I just want to kind of get some background on you and the things you like to do, and to kind of give me an outlook on the things you do in your spare time maybe. So what are your hobbies? What do you like to do?
Well, I really like to read, and I like to be outdoors a lot. So I like to take hikes. I like to swim and things like that. I find that that's kind of a little bit of a stress relief.
Okay, that's definitely a positive way to kind of deal with things. I definitely would recommend that. You did mention that you go to church. Is that a good support system for you?
I do have, or I used to be involved in a youth group there. Not so much anymore, so I've kind of lost a little bit of that support in my life.
Is that something that maybe you want to get a little more reconnected with?
I would actually, yes.
Okay, I can definitely help you look into that and help you see what's available and what they have maybe available for maybe your age group. Maybe there's a college group that you could kind of start to get involved with.
That would be perfect.
Okay. So you said that you have a really good relationship with your mom. So she's a big support system for you then?
Yes.
Okay. So is there anyone else maybe that you have a support with?
I am in a book club here on my campus.
Okay.
And although we talk about books and things like that, we also talk about our personal lives and how maybe the books can relate to our personal lives. So it's nice just to talk to people in that kind of system sometimes.
Okay. I'm really glad you have that. It's really good to hear. Sometimes people come in and maybe don't know how to tie that hobby into something like that you've been able to find. So tell me a little bit about your strengths. Tell me things that you think are good qualities about yourself.
I think I'm a very patient person, which is one of the reasons why I wanted to be a elementary school teacher.
Mm-hmm.
I also feel like I'm not afraid to ask for help when I need it, which is why I'm here today, is to try and get help with some of the emotional issues I've been having.
Okay, I'm so glad that you took that initiative and you came in to see me. I'm definitely excited to get a chance to kind of help you work through a lot of this.
Thank you.
And going along those lines, one of the things that I wanted to ask you about is kind of those symptoms that you're dealing with. I know you mentioned depression and anxiety. What are you struggling with? What comes along with that?
Like I mentioned earlier, just social situations. I find it hard to interact with my peers and with others. Also, when it comes to school, like I mentioned, the anxiety with excelling and being able to study properly and take tests properly, I struggle in those areas.
Okay, so it sounds like you're kind of having some of those typical symptoms that come along with being in school and dealing with those big stressors. That is definitely something that we can kind of work around to kind of figure out exactly how to alleviate those for you. Have you ever been officially diagnosed with a mental health disorder? I
have not. You're actually the first counselor that I've ever seen.
Okay, that's good to know. I definitely would like to kind of help further that and to see where we can take that and see what we can do to kind of alleviate that, see how we can maybe treat that as well. I can also refer you out to maybe an outside counselor who can give you maybe a little more information, a little more support.
That would be awesome.
Okay, so you did mention that you like to hike and it's a good stress reliever, and reading is as well. Are there any other ways that you kind of cope with your depression and anxiety symptoms?
No, not besides really the exercise. That's what I found that really helps me the most.
Okay. We can also, that's one of the things that we can also maybe research together. Maybe you can research afterwards as kind of other ways that we can try to make that a little better and to kind of help make things a little easier for you on a day-to-day basis.
Okay.
One of the questions that, of course, comes along with depression that have to ask Have you ever thought about hurting yourself or attempted to hurt yourself or maybe someone else?
No, I have never had any thoughts of hurting myself or anyone else.
Okay, I'm so glad to hear that. I'm glad that you aren't struggling with that as well. One of the last things that I want to talk about is your physical health, because of course that has a big effect on the way that you feel. Would you consider yourself in good health?
I would consider myself very physically healthy. Yes.
Okay, and of course you get plenty of exercise, it sounds like.
Mm-hmm.
Have you ever been diagnosed with any physical health problems?
I have not been diagnosed with any kind of physical health problems.
Okay. Have you had any surgeries, maybe related to hiking or anything like that?
A couple of years ago in my early teens, I broke my wrist, but it hasn't affected me in my daily living.
Okay. Have you had any maybe recent illnesses? Have you gotten a cold, been sick?
No, not that I can think of.
Okay. Are you currently taking any medications, maybe allergy medicine, ibuprofen, anything along those lines?
Nothing more than the occasional ibuprofen, just for a little bit of a headache.
Okay. So one of the questions I like to ask all of my clients, just so I know, have you ever tried any illegal drugs? Or are you currently using any?
A couple of years ago when I first got into college, I tried marijuana, but it was a one-time thing, and I really haven't tried it since then.
Okay, so it was just kind of a recreational thing?
Yes.
Okay, perfect. I'm glad to hear that. Thank you so much for coming in to see me. Unfortunately, it looks like our time is coming to an end. I just kind of wanted to go over everything we talked about just to kind of make sure we're on the same page with this. We got a chance to talk about the way your family's working together, the relationships that you're dealing with. We also kind of talked about your day-to-day life, your schoolwork, everything you're struggling with. We had a chance to kind of talk about your depression and anxiety, the symptoms you're struggling with, and also your physical health to see how you're doing, just how you're feeling as well on the outside as well as on the inside. I have plenty of things for me to start looking into as kind of giving you some support systems and some kind of more resources to help you out with some of the things that you mentioned you're struggling with. I kind of want to see you maybe in a week or two to give me a chance to look into that and to give you a chance to kind of think some more about what we talked about today, and to give you a chance to kind of look into some things as well. Do you have any questions for me?
No, thank you so much for seeing me today. This
Perfect.
has been really helpful.
Of course. Thank you so much for coming in to see me. I really appreciate it. I hope to see you in a week or two.
Yes, of course. Thank
you.
you.